getting into real estate, it's an investment. Time.
It's kind of reversed when it comes to real estate brokerages and who you're going to select.
I think one thing I learned too is like you have to see what works for you as a real estate agent.
You know, I don't look at failures as failures. Failures are just an opportunity to just kind of come out on top afterwards and, you know, just learn from everything that happens to you along your journey. And
what's going on, everybody? We're back. This episode, I think, is going to be our official first episode.
So, well, we just off the fly made a video, and it actually turned out really good. We got a lot of ideas from it, a lot of things that we're kind of thinking about doing, and what did we decide?
We decided to open up this.
Yeah, we decided to do a new podcast, guys. So it's going to be called 416 Hustle. It's going to be us and connecting with entrepreneurs, maybe not just from the 416 area, but people who have started businesses, and we wanted to find out their keys to success, like what made them grow to the successful people that they are today. Obviously, we've had our own success as real estate agents here in the GTA, which we're going to share in this particular episode. So we're kind of our own guests. And we're going to be the hosts at the same time. And in the future, we're going to probably highlight some people in our network and people that we know. Yeah. And anyone that you guys may suggest that you want to know a little bit more information about to see how they did so well in the little things that they did to become successful, for sure.
Yeah, so even if you're interested or you own a business, you're an entrepreneur, you want to be on one of our episodes, we'll have a bigger space to use. This is just kind of just a one-on-one with me and Danilo space. So if you want to be on the show, feel free to reach out to us, DM us, text us, call us, and we'll see what we can make it happen.
100%. So obviously there's so many business owners in our city and obviously around the world. I know that there's a lot of people out there who are curious or want to get into their own business. They want to be their own boss. I mean, it's kind of almost like a popular thing now. You know, back in the day, people wanted to be athletes. Now all of a sudden, like there's some, you know what I mean? Now there's some Instagram accounts that are just like entrepreneurs that are bigger than even some individual athletes out there. And it's for a really specific reason, because you know and you feel it inside that this is the way to kind of get out of the rat race, guys. Like if you are okay with working a 9-to-5 job and all that sort of stuff, that's amazing. I'm actually almost envious of you, because you can shut off at 5 and not worried about it until 9 o'clock Monday morning. I don't really have that luxury. Do you have that luxury?
No, I don't have that luxury.
No, I don't have that luxury. But you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way, because the opportunities are in front of us and the things that we can create are just like unlimited. The ceiling doesn't exist. You know, you can go sky's the limit here when it comes to this sort of stuff. So this is why we wanted to focus on these type of stories and just highlighting how people become successful with their own businesses. Yep. And just bringing it right to you guys, man.
Yeah, and we also want to bring some genuine storytelling. Like, I don't know about you, but I like to get inspired by like how athletes became, the athletes. Sure. Like I watch a lot of like Kobe Bryant interviews, or like, soccer players or football players, whatever they may be. How do they start from nothing to something, right? So you can kind of get inspiration from that, maybe learn tricks or get tips from them on how they process from being, like I said, nothing to something.
If you can take like 1 or 2 or 3 nuggets from like the videos that we provide, guys, I mean, that'd be amazing to me. You know, I think that when I watch those type of things, there's one thing that's always common, okay? Hard work. I don't think there's a replacement for hard work and being successful in this business, unless you're some sort of generational guy that has had a business that his grandpa made or something that you're just kind of inheriting. Even in situations like that, you're going to come in and do some work at the end of the day. I think that that's always going to be the case. And our stories are going to highlight people that probably didn't have that sort of start. It's going to be similar to at least me and Andres here, in the sense that we kind of didn't have anything, right? We had to kind of start it from scratch, and we had to make something of ourselves, and we got to put ourselves out there. And I think there's a lot of people out there who can relate.
You said making it happen. And one thing I preach to everybody that asks me about my social media is like, you're so good at social media. How did you do it? How'd you do it? I didn't have an option. I grew up with a single mother, you know what I mean? Hustling our way up. She was providing, food on the table, and I didn't have the budget to work with, media companies. When I started real estate, I was only 23 years old, was working renovation on the side. So I had to learn how to pick up the phone, how to edit, the takes, the angles. Shout out to my buddy T.Cam, who taught me a lot. He does a lot of music videos, a lot of production things. Obviously, you get all these nuggets from people around you. You surround yourself with media people, or you try to do it yourself, and it's just trial and error.
100%. And
everyone's like, oh, how are you so good on the camera? This is 10 years of me being on the camera, and there's still levels to go.
No,
you know what I mean? What about you in front of the camera?
There's always room for improvement. I remember the first thing, I don't know, it's probably 2015 or something like that, where I might have heard some sort of coach say, hey, video is a new thing. You got to be on YouTube. And if you check back on my YouTube, I actually did videos back in the day, and I used to go live. I used to talk about the monthly stats live, tripping up on my words the whole entire time, probably not even saying things properly. I don't know, so many mistakes,
Yeah.
I'm sure. And at the end of the day, my thing was like, look, I got to just take action. I just got to do it. You know, there was many times, I mean, what you guys are seeing right now is it's like the latest version of like, you know, all the things that I've tried. Yeah, out of all the things that I've tried along the way, you know. But back in the day, I used to literally spend an hour and a half of my day editing one video to make it look like half decent, you know what I mean? And it took up a lot of time, you know, and you need to learn. I need to trip. Like, I can edit a video probably, but nowadays I have someone who can help me out with that, you know. We spend our time where it should be, which is like communicating with our clients and making phone calls and making things happen on our business. How did you do this real estate social media thing? And it's like, I had no option. Well, dude, I had no option either. Like, I had to actually pick up the phone, call people that I knew, super awkward, friends, family, you know what I mean? Let them know that I'm a real estate agent now. I'm a young guy that's like, you know, if you saw our last video, that even at that point didn't even purchase his own property yet as well. Like, who's going to listen to me? But somehow I made it happen.
Exactly.
Somehow I made it happen. Somehow I still made pretty decent income, still 6 figures even in the first year while I was working at Bell. But anyways, there's more about that coming up because we're going to talk a little bit more about our stories, what got us here, you know, and then, you know, kind of show you a little bit of an insight as to all the hard work we put in because, man, it might be Danilo version, I don't know, man, 5.0, I guess. You know, there's been so many things that have changed over the time, man. I don't know if you feel the same.
There was an actor that was giving a speech. I forgot his name.
I think it's Matthew McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah,
He's like, they're like, who's your hero, Matthew McConaughey? And he's like, my hero is me. Sorry, 10 years in advance, in the future, right? And then that person's hero, which is me in 5 years, is the 5 years after that. Yeah. Because I had to go through what I had to go through to become that, right? So we just gotta improve, guys. Just gotta, you know, give it your all, keep going at it, and work step by step and leverage, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know. Anybody who's in business knows that, you know, you need to have either systems or you need to have people at the end of the day to grow, to scale. You can't do it all yourself. It's impossible if you want to grow something. So, you know, I think everyone can kind of tell you that. And I'm sure that when we have these stories and have these people come talking to us, they're going to tell you similar things too. But let's get going with this episode, man. I think we're our own guest this time. Yeah. So we're going to learn a little bit about our background and kind of how we got into this. And so you guys have some insights. And if you want to become a realtor in the GTA or anywhere, I would say anywhere. I think it's a very similar job in anywhere. It's just that maybe the law's a little bit different. This could be a good video to kind of give you some insights on how to get started in that.
So I've probably had anywhere from 30 to 40 people in my time of being a real estate agent ask me about becoming a real estate agent. Out of those 30, 40, I think maybe a handful became a realtor. I don't know about you. Do a lot of people ask you about becoming?
You know, I might not have had that many people ask me, but I've had at least about 10 people have asked me this. You know, and
what's
you know,
your answer when they ask you?
I mean, I'm like, are you sure?
You don't want this life.
Yeah, are you sure that's what you want to do? You know. Anyway, I think that there's a lot of opportunity, but I'm always careful to let them know that hey, like anything that you do is going to be hard work. Okay, it's not just going to be like those TV shows that you see on TV, you know, or on Netflix or whatever. It's not that easy. You know what I mean? So there's got to be a lot of hard work, but it's very possible. It's very doable as long as you're doing the right things. And I think out of everyone who's asked me, I'd have to maybe follow up. There might be one or two people who are in school right now at Humber College taking the course, but you know, other than that, I don't know if anyone has actually made it. Actually, let me rephrase that. I know one person. Okay, Julie, I know.
Shout out Julia.
Shout out Julie, yeah.
Julie.
She got her real estate license actually maybe a year ago or so, and I know she always had it in her mind. She always was buying investment properties with me and with my help and stuff, and I'm so happy that she got into it as well, like just for herself, but also, you know, helping out clients and stuff too. So
yeah. Amazing. So I have people ask me, and I'm like, listen, I don't want to be negative, but I'm going to they have to know the negative. Like you before you get into something, you have to know what you're getting yourself into.
Did you know when you started?
No, hell no. I didn't know shit, to be honest. I thought it was going to be easy. I thought just like in the last episode, I just thought because I knew a lot of people it was going to be easy, and why wouldn't they hire me? Right? Yeah, but I tell everybody, I'm like, listen, when you're getting into real estate, it's an investment. Time and financial investment. Huge. Just in fees alone, we pay like what, $2-3 a year? That's just fees. And when you're starting, you need clothing. You need business cards. If you do ads, that's extra. If you get media done, that could be extra.
Your signs and stuff too.
Your signs.
Yeah, there might be a brokerage fee as well, like depending on what office you're in. I don't know, man. So there's coaching, there's like applications, yeah.
Let's say to start, you're paying maybe what, $3 to $5 in your first year, without making money. And even when you make money, it's not right away.
No.
You do a transaction, you can get paid within a month to 3 months.
Yeah. Before
you see any money from that.
Yeah. And then your office takes like maybe 40%, 30%. You know, then you got to put some away from your taxes because you never had to do that before.
Yeah.
You got to hire an accountant.
Not to scare you.
Yeah. There's a lot of parts to it. But you know what? A lot of businesses have similar parts. And I think a lot of people start. And one of the things they trip up on at first is taxes, I think. And then they realize that when they make a little bit of money that, I have to pay some taxes to the government. And we're in Canada. So if you make over a certain amount of money, taxes could be quite a bit. So yeah, look, there's obviously a lot of things to kind of pinpoint, a lot of things that probably think people need to consider. But Andres, let's start with you, man. Like, what made you get your real estate license, and what were you doing at the time? And tell us a little bit of the story of like you getting into ORIA, doing your tests, and getting in. What made you select the office that you selected? Like, I want to hear, man. I don't even know this, so let's see.
Okay, so how I started into real estate. I do have a promoter background, like most real estate agents do. Okay. Let's say 50% of real estate agents started with promotion, events, clubs, this and that. So
you were doing that? Yeah.
I was doing events around 19 years old, and we had like a couple successful parties at a place called On the Rocks at Dufferin and Steeles.
Okay.
So I connected with my buddy Jordan. I was like freshly in the neighborhood. He started coming out with me. I was that 16-year-old kid that got a car as soon as he got his G2.
Yeah, nice.
I told my mom, listen, I'm going to hustle and get a car by the end of the summer. This is when I was 16.
What car did you have?
Pontiac Sunfire.
Yeah, I had a beat up Jetta, like that was my first car, I believe, and then a Golf. I think I had a Ford Taurus for a little while. But I was like you, man, 16, I had my thing, man. Anyways, go ahead.
I was working, it's actually an interesting story. A lot of people don't know this. It was a summer, let's say, when was that, like 2006. I was working a landscape company, $10 an hour cash, which at that time was really good money. And I told the guy, I don't know how I trusted him so much, but I'm like, every weekend, I want you to give me some fun money, like let's say like a quarter of what you owe me, and just save the rest. By the end of summer, I had like $2,000 that he owed me. Thank God he paid me because there was no contract or nothing.
Yeah. That's interesting, man. Not everybody would do that, eh?
Yeah, so at the end of this, every weekend I'd take maybe like $40-$50. Like at that time was good enough money to get food, pay, get around, whatever. And then I had $2,000, bought my first car. And then I was that guy, calling up all my friends, hey, where we're going. Anyways, to make it short, ended up doing some parties, connected with my buddy Jordan, and he's like, hey man, we know so much people, why don't we just get our real estate license by the age of like 19? So in our heads, we're like, oh fuck, how much does a real estate agent make? And we're like, yeah, $20,000, $25,000.
Really?
Everybody looks at the commission check and never counts how much expenses they are, how hard it is to convince someone to use you. Like,
you don't keep all of that money, guys.
Yeah, you don't
keep all of that money, okay? Anyways, yeah.
And then I ended up getting it. Took me like a little bit because studying is not like my best forte in terms of like sitting down, like really studying. Because honestly, I told everybody like the real estate tests are like history. You just learn, not that it's all about history, but you're just learning random facts.
Yeah,
most of it is just random.
It's not
facts.
even applicable to the actual job, man.
Exactly.
Like they don't actually teach you business, which is what you need to know when it comes to this this job or whatever you want to call it. They just teach you about like, I don't know, lot sizes, and different types of properties. And
half of what they teach you, honestly, is not really applicable to you actually.
The day-to-day
stuff.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know about now, because the new course is at Humber.
Yeah, it's at Humber, but I think like, I don't know, like you probably did 3 tests and then you could get your license at ORIA.
Yeah.
And then after that, you had to do another 2 articling, like within the year.
Exactly.
That's the same thing for me. I think the subjects are pretty much similar, but I think you got to do all 5, if not 6, at school before you even get your license. So you do a little bit more schooling, and it's at Humber versus it being at ORIA, which is Ontario Real Estate Association, and like at Duncan Mills. That was like at Leslie and 4-1 area. So you go to a proper school now, so it's a little bit different. I'm not sure. We might have to get another
I think
agent.
you can do it online, or I don't know if it's only online.
Yeah. Anyways,
we're getting older. That's like the new school problem.
Yeah, it's a new school problem, guys. Good luck.
But yeah, anyways, ended up getting my real estate license. Like I said in the last episode, I thought it was easy. Didn't really get busy until a couple years later. I was doing renovation. I was only 23. I looked like I was 18 at the time. Mm-hmm. So I was like, hey, hire me as your.
Hold on, you got your license at 19 or 23 or
23?
23. Okay.
Yeah.
But at 19, you had the idea.
Events. I had the idea.
Okay, your buddy said, hey, let's get a license.
No, sorry. We started doing events at 19, and then by 22, we're kind of like, hey, like we're doing good at this. We're meeting a lot of people.
I see.
Why don't we get our real estate license? Thinking life is all flowers and rainbows.
Does that guy have his license still?
No, he didn't get his license.
He didn't get his license. Okay. Yeah, interesting.
The school is not for everybody. Honestly, like, I'll be quite frank with you guys, I barely passed those exams. Like, some of those exams I probably got, like, there was the second exam, I'll never forget. I got 69 the first one. The passing grade was 75. I got 73 on the second try. So I was literally 2% off, which was probably most of the questions were worth 2% or more.
Yeah.
And like I literally like just looked at that paper that said 73, and I tried calling and trying to find it out. Didn't work.
This guy was negotiating right away, right? He started negotiating.
I had to pay the whole course fee again because they give you one retry for like $50
That's
that
right.
time.
That's right.
And I had to pay the whole thing again. At that time, money was scarce, so it's like.
I think they're like $400. They were like $400, $500.
Yeah.
$400 or $500 per course to do it. Okay. All right.
What was your experience like when you were starting? And
so, I mean, I actually used to work for Bell Canada. So I was there for 9 years. Initially, I was actually on the phones. Like people who called and complained about their bill or wanted to change it was Bell TV, actually, satellite TV.
Yeah.
So when they would call and change their programming, like I would be the guy like, trying to make your change, but at the same time, like hating it the whole entire time. Like I remember, like literally every single day I would complain, like I don't want to do this job, I hate this job, da da da. And anyway, so eventually I got a job in Bell Canada as a trainer. So I used to train people, and that was a little bit more easy to deal with. And I didn't mind that job. I was there for a long time. Then I got an idea to get my real estate license. Actually, so Jill, my stager, and she actually was thinking about getting her license first. Because she had an idea from back in the day that to get her license. She actually signed up to Oria first, and I was with her at the time. And so I was like, just thinking, I'm like, I'm a trainer. I'm always in front of like groups of people, training them. I didn't have any shyness when it comes to that. I was always like pretty meticulous with like knowledge and learning and knowing everything. And I'm like, you know what? I think like I have the skill sets to like, I should be pretty good as an agent. Like I kind of thought that. And I'm like, you know what? I'm like, you gave me an idea to kind of sign up to this, and I decided to do it at the same time. The funny story is that I actually ended up finishing the course before she did, and I was doing it like while I wasn't doing trainings. I was doing it like in between like lunches and breaks and stuff like that. And I eventually got my license. I ended up picking Rollerpay Signature, which is my brokerage right now, and I love Jeff, Chris, Sam, all you guys, all the management team there. Man, amazing brokerage, by the way. Rollerpay Signature, 3 locations, and I should probably get a little commission for anybody who signs up from this video. But anyways, the reason why I actually ended up going there is because I used to work on Winford and Don Mills, which is where Bell Canada building is. And Signature was literally at shops at Don Mills. So it was across the street.
Okay. Yeah.
So I literally, for anybody listening at Bell, literally I would leave Bell, okay, and I'll go to the brokerage across the street, and I ended up picking them because not just that they were a great brokerage, they were just so close to my other office.
Yes.
And I was there, and I would try to escape anywhere possible to try to do my job. And it was crazy, man. For like maybe the first year, I was like already kind of getting busy. Like I got, Realtor Insights is a great office, so they already gave me tips and tricks on how to get clients. And I was calling people, letting friends know, letting family members know that I was doing this. And, I would escape, and I would go over there. And at lunches and breaks, every single day, I'd literally be on the phones. I didn't even eat lunch when I was at Bell. And I remember Jim's the manager, the recruitment manager at Signature. One day he just told me, he's like, you got to cut the tether. The tether was Bell Canada's paycheck. I would get that every 2 weeks, and it would basically be paying my fixed expenses. Everything from real estate was kind of extra at the time. And he's like, you got to cut the tether. It's holding you back. And I kind of felt like, man, it was scary. It was a scary thing to do, man. It was a scary thing to do. It was like my consistent paycheck. It's a job that I had forever.
Taking the leap.
I was kind of taking the leap, right? That's what he meant by cutting the tether. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to take the leap fully. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tell Bell that I'm taking a leave of absence. And I did that. I took a leave of absence for 1 year. And I'm like, look, I got to kill with real estate. I have to make it happen. Believe it or not, in that same year, I bought a pre-construction condo.
Oh, wow.
With my girl at the time. And you know what? Like, it was supposed to be finished in like 2 years or something like that. I was thinking like, I was a real estate agent at the time, so I knew a little bit about what it took to actually be affordable or what wasn't. At the time, pre-construction, they didn't ask for more mortgage papers, nothing. You could just sign, give a little deposit, and then it's held, And I should have probably at the time, with what I was really making and she was really making, I probably should have got the lowest unit in the project, We ended up going with the highest unit in the project. And the reason in my head was like, look, I have to make it.
Yeah.
Dude, like I'm like, I have to make it.
But you went all in though. You could have went like a half of it.
I have to make it in real estate. Otherwise, like we're not getting our deposit back pretty much. Like how the hell would I close on this? And so, man, like I just killed it. I remember like, I don't remember exactly when, but my manager from Bell called me like on a Wednesday or something. And she was like, hey, Danilo, like you were actually supposed to come in on Monday. And I was like, oh, I completely forgot, dude. Like I was just in it, I was just doing my thing. And I right there on the phone, I just told her, I guess I gotta just tell you that this is my resignation. Like I'm not coming back.
Oh, wow.
And that was it, dude.
What did they say?
And she kind of already knew. I think she kind of had a little bit of maybe people were telling her that I was doing the real estate thing, maybe a few people in my office already knew that anyways. And I never went back to Bell after that day. And I'm glad, man. I'm happy that I left it behind, you know? Like, it was a stage in my life, you know? It was that 9-to-5 job. Honestly, to be honest with you, when I was at that job, I always felt underutilized. I always felt like there was so much more that I can offer. I did try to, like, get into management positions within Bell. Didn't really work out. Sucks because I probably would have been really good. And
well, it was just not for you, right?
Yeah, it wasn't for me, man. It is what it is. And I'm so happy that I went this route because, man, it just created so many opportunities. So that was a long story, guys, but that's basically kind of the story of me getting my license. Man.
That just reminded me of something when we said when we said not for you. I left a brokerage. I'm not gonna say when because I've been in real estate for 10 years. Sure. And I'm not gonna mention who it was, but I was leaving a brokerage and the broker calls me and he asked, "Hey Andres, like, why are you leaving? We can offer you this." Obviously, he's trying to sell me. I'm not trying to call that person a bad person because they're not, right? They're good. They're a good person. But one thing you have to understand is when you're getting into real estate, especially offices, they're going to try to sell you. They are salespeople. They're going to try their best to keep you there. One, because they want you to make the company money. Anyone would. And two, because at the end of the day, it's their instinct to keep you. You're like, there's no way I'm not going to be able to sell this guy. It's kind of like a challenge for them, right? As salespeople, you always want to try to convince people, you know, at the back of your head. Whether you're doing that maliciously or not, that's a whole other topic. So he calls me and he's like, why don't you want to stay? We can do this, we can do that for you. And I told him, listen, blank, whatever his name was. Real estate agents are like athletes. And certain athletes strive on certain teams. And I felt like this new brokerage I was going to was the one. And dead silence. Like, I think I stumped him with that. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but sometimes you just got to put people in perspective. Like, listen, this is just not for me. And it's not that your brokerage is bad or horrible or I'm talking smack about it. It's just that I feel like I can thrive elsewhere. And look at you. You took that leap. You left the company. And look where you're at now. You know what I mean? You got to get uncomfortable to get comfortable, right?
And it was crazy, man. You know what? At the time, like, our office, there was a lot of unions being formed because we were not unionized. There was a lot of unions being formed at the office at the time. And our department got unionized, and we got a pretty significant pay increase, you know? And I left that too, man. I'm just like, dude, like, I had a consistent job, a unionized job. It was so hard for me to get fired at that point. Benefits, all this sort of stuff. So many things that would make a lot of people nervous. I said, forget it, man, you know? And I just left, you know? But, hey, there's no looking back, man. There's no looking back, 100%.
We're in it now. We're in too deep to stop now.
Yeah, 100%. And having said that, you know, one thing that comes to mind for me as well as, you know, anybody who's kind of looking to get into this type of business, it's like, it's kind of reverse when it comes to real estate brokerages and who you're going to select. You're kind of interviewing them. Yes. In a way, it's not like
a lot of people forget that.
Yeah, it's not like they're interviewing you. They're gonna take you on. Like, you do a couple sales, they make a cut. I mean, they want people on the brokerage, so it's not like they're gonna say no. You know, you gotta come out. And I did go take a look at maybe 3 different brokerages that I just did my own research, and I thought that they were kind of like bigger ones. They had good branding and marketing and stuff like that. I ended up going with Signature anyways. It all was just very convenient. It was much closer. It was, in my opinion, the better brokerage. And my office didn't necessarily accept me. You know, just like that. Actually, I think I had to talk to a few people before because they didn't like the fact that I was going to be a part-time realtor. They kind of wanted to have more full-time people there, and they didn't really want me, you know, to be working at Bell. But, you know, after talking to a few of them, you know, I guess they kind of felt that, you know, I would be able to be successful in this business, and they took me on regardless. But yeah, I wasn't part-time for long.
Anyone getting into real estate, I would suggest interviewing between 3 to 5 real estate offices.
Yeah.
See what they can offer you. See what they can generate for you, whether it be training, whether it be leads, whether it be an office, whether it be a system that they help you write offers, whether it be social media. Every office has their forte.
Sure.
And it's just like sports. It's just like teams. That's why I say, you got to see what's going to benefit you. The split, obviously, the monthly fees, there's so much to consider. If you have any questions, obviously message us. But there's so many factors that you have to remember, like he said, you're interviewing them as much as they're interviewing you. And at the end of the day, they want more agents, let's be honest, because you're going to pay a franchise fee, a monthly fee in most brokerages. And it's not that they don't have nothing to lose, but at the end of the day, you going on their team, they're going to benefit.
Yeah.
Whether you make money or not, in some way, they're going to
What was that initial cut that they gave you? I can tell you mine.
My very first one?
Yeah.
70-30.
It was 70-30. Yeah, a lot of you guys start at 70-30 without any experience. They put you in a 70-30. At least at my office, the office space, actual, you get your own office, was all based on production. So I didn't even have that. You had to go in the common area with all the other people, all the other agents that are in there as well. So you don't really have like a dedicated space. Okay, you have to make it. It took a little while. I think at first I split an office with two other agents. There was 3 of us in an office because I just wanted a little bit of privacy. I didn't like being out on the floor because there's just too much distractions.
Yeah.
And I was the type of guy who just went in, did my thing, and left. Like, I didn't really form a lot of relationship with other agents in the office at the time. It took like a while before I started actually making like real estate friends, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I was just doing my thing, man. I was just doing my thing. Yeah. Things don't change. That's it.
But going back to like the offices, like now I'm at Keller Williams Legacies, as you know.
Amazing.
And honestly, I've never been happier. I feel like I found a brokerage where I really fit in. And again, it's not to badmouth any other office. Every other office can be great, and in their own way. But I finally kind of found a fit that I really believe in. Like social media, culture, collaboration, things like that we can just like bounce off each other's energy, right? There's other offices where the agents, they kind of, like you said, they just like doing their own thing. And that's fine, right? To each their own. Like if that's what makes you money and that's what makes you happy, like by all means.
There's a lot of agents at your office?
100 in total, I think we're like 130, 140. Not all of them are always obviously in the office at the time, and some of them might be part-time.
You got the one office, right?
But I got an office at the Keller Williams location.
Yeah. That's good, man. Yeah, my office, you know what? When I first started, I want to say, there was only the Don Mills in Lawrence at Shops at Don Mills, and that's where I kind of started. They only had that one office at the time. I think maybe 2 years in, they actually brought in 2 other offices. I don't know how many people we had at that time. I think under 1,000 people, but still quite a bit of people. Yeah,
Between how many offices?
No, one. Like at the time, there might have been like 400 or 500 people. Now there's like 1,500 though.
Yeah.
Now there's 2 other offices though. There's one at Huron, Ontario, Eglinton, and Mississauga, and the one that I moved to the downtown office at King and Portland. Okay. Yeah. So at King and Portland, there's probably 130 agents, and again, like not everybody comes in every day.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like 1,500 people, like that's why I give it up. I know the management team works really hard because man, that's a lot of people and to manage, and they bring speakers. They have a lot of resources that everybody's able to use. So yeah, man, like. Definitely shop around. That's probably not the best word, but definitely like interview different brokerages to find out which is best for you. I know that there's a lot of growing brokerages, cloud brokerages. There's Real, there's EXP. There's a lot of people that are jumping into those that I'm noticing. I don't know. Do you have any opinion on those?
I'm only going to opinion on Keller Williams Legacies.
Okay, all right. That's good. I really don't know. I'm not part of those. I'm not part of those brokerages, but the model's a little different, and I guess there might be some other revenue opportunities and stuff like that. But who knows?
Yeah, and just to put in perspective, like you guys having 1,500 agents, like all those agents are not in the office at the same time.
No.
Like these offices, maybe the people that have their own office, like let's say myself or you inside your brokerage, like they'll be there most of the time or half the time, right? But a lot of people just work from home. That works for them. For me personally, the reason why I got my own office is because if I'm at home on my desk and my PS5s are beside me and my bed is just a couple steps away, like down the hall, it's too much temptation.
It's tough. I've always been a person who prefers to go into the office to work. I think I'm more productive. There's
me too.
Like I said, like you said, if I go out to the living room and I sit on the couch for a sec, it takes a lot to like bring me back and get me back into the groove. I'd rather just like, look, I have no other option here. I just have my computer screens. And I mean, I just got to make it happen right here in the office. I think I prefer it. And that's why I'm usually, at least 3 days a week I'm in the office for sure. And then the other days, I don't know, days like today, I usually do content and stuff like that, but really depends. It's good to have you should probably have like a decent schedule. I was definitely all over the place before.
I want to add that me putting that pressure of paying that office, that puts a pressure on you, like,
sure,
you got to produce.
Yep.
I'm talking to myself, like, you're paying this X amount of dollars a month for an office. You got to, first of all, use it, and you have to see the benefit of having one. Is that office going to make me X amount of dollars what it costs or more? Right? So having that pressure of getting an office, I'm not saying everybody should get an office, but if you're in the financial state which you can, maybe you should. At the end of the day, it is a tax write-off as well. So there's many factors. Don't just look at the number. Look at how much it's going to produce for you and what's the benefits that are going to come out of it.
You know what? That's a really good point. It's something that I didn't learn and implement until later on. It's a tough pill to swallow when you're thinking about expenses in your business. Okay, a lot of people don't want to spend. They want to just, obviously make their money and be as lean as possible and not have much expenses. But honestly, you got to play to win, man. You got to play to you got to pay to play. I would say, you know what I mean? You can't be shy about spending when it comes to your business, as long as you have a return on it. You got to invest in your business to grow. You got to invest in your business to take it to the next level. And I've always had those moments where I feel like, I'm kind of like, I need to like break through this threshold. And I'm like, and it always ends up being with me having to like implement a new tool or like maybe hire someone in. Like I know initially after maybe a few years in, I think I was in their third or fourth year where I actually got my virtual assistant, Abby, which is with me still to this day.
Shout out Abby.
Shout out Abby for sure. You know, she doesn't live in Canada, but she was my virtual assistant. She used to help me with my transactions. She used to do a lot of, you know, the paperwork stuff for me. You know, you guys don't know what this is yet if you're not an agent, but like there's FinTrack forms, there's deal paperwork. You know, you got to make sure that all the agreements are in place and you got to send everything out to the lawyers and stuff. That takes up a lot of time, and it used to take up a lot of time for me. So I'm like, okay, that next level was like, I got to bring this person in. Yes, it's going to cost me some money per month, but it's going to allow me to do a lot more and focus on the things that I'm supposed to focus on.
The best thing you said was pay to play.
Yeah.
Like you can't just be a realtor and just be stagnant. No one's going to notice you. You got to find a way, whether it be social media, email blasts, events, calling people, texting people, find what works for you. And just implement that.
Honestly, man, I was like, you know, I wasn't great at that for the longest time. Honestly, even today, I feel like there's way more room for improvement on the social media side and just putting myself out there and stuff like that. Like, I didn't really do that for the longest time. You know what I mean? What was something somebody told me? You can't be a secret agent. You can't be a secret agent. People need to know who you are, type of stuff, right? And I'm like, okay. So this is why, you know, maybe a year and a half ago is when I decided, okay, look, I got to go all on a video. I got to have really good production. I got to have everything in set in place. I know what I'm talking about. Now it's just, you know, everyone else has to know that too. Everyone else has to learn that I know what I'm talking about as well. So this is kind of like part of this for sure. Yeah, that's amazing, man. So tell me, man, like, since we're on that topic, like, you know, producing leads and like, you know, 'cause that's a big part of any business, by the way. Like if you don't have leads, if you don't have like people to work with, I mean, you have no business, right? Like where's the money coming from?
Yeah.
So my question to you, I guess, is like starting out and then maybe towards now, like where were you getting your leads? Like where were your clients coming from? Like, you know, how did that happen? You know, 10 years, man. Yeah.
10 years. Honestly, it's like I tell people, when I started, I wouldn't even say I started too early, but I think I didn't have the right game plan. I kind of relied on my network too much, and like I said, I was naive. You know, like why wouldn't people hire me? I had all these people, they know me, blah blah, but you got to implement so much into it. You know what I mean? So let's say like the timeline of my real estate career was like let's say we're almost at 11 now. First 5 years, part time, doing renovations on the side, doing a couple leases here and there. Nothing that I could like take it on full time yet. Let's say by the 6th, 7th year, I was doing it full time. And let's say really investing into it, maybe like the last 3. So that's kind of like my timeline. Like I was like a rookie for like 5 years, which is probably longer than it should have been. Maybe it was I think it was partly my fault, and also maybe not searching for the right people to guide me. And one thing I did tell in a meeting the other day, there was an agent that offered me 50-50 on any deal he gives me, and then 70-30 if I have my own leads, which I probably would have taken because that
sounds like joining a team type of thing.
Basically, I was joining a team off the bat, which I probably should have took. Now that I think about it, I mean, no regrets. You know, it is what it is. But if 50% of $1 is much more than 0% of $1, you know what I mean? Like 100%.
No money.
Nothing. So if you have the option to join a team, I mean, take it. Do like a contract, maybe a year, 6 months, 3 months, whatever, and get your feet wet. See if it works out, right? And then maybe you can grow for that, or make your own team after, or go on your own.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, on my side, honestly, like I had in my mind, I'm like, man, I'm going to have my own team. Like I'm going to do it myself. Like I had zero plan of joining a team. Like I never wanted to do it. I thought I was going to do it myself. Super naive. You know what I mean? And just looking back, I mean, that was definitely an option. And it's definitely an option for anyone trying to get into this business. You can join a team, like Andres said, and just to get your feet wet, to kind of find out what their processes are. How do they go about lead generation?
And getting guidance.
Yeah, guidance in terms of like, you know, how do you want to speak to clients? How do you want to convert? There's so many things you can learn from someone who's experienced, obviously, right? And that could have been a path. They could have actually shortened my success period. It could have got me to success a lot quicker because I would have maybe implemented certain things that I didn't right away because I just didn't know. You don't know what you don't know, right? And I didn't know. And I was kind of naive, and I was just kind of doing things on my own. But again, no regrets. Like, because I did things on my own, it meant that I took a path that most people didn't take. Like, I was one of the first guys in my offices who was running Facebook ads. And I was getting leads from Facebook ads. I remember I was getting like 100, 150 leads per month.
Oh, wow.
You know, like I think my cost per click at the time was like $2.50, maybe $3 a click, or $3 like a contact info. You know, which now I think it might be even double. It might be in the $4 to $6 range now because so many people just jumped in. But at the time, nobody was doing it. You know, and one thing that you said to me, okay, you weren't looking for proper guidance and stuff. Maybe year 2 or 3, or maybe year 3 when I was in, I got a coach. Okay, and his name was Jared James, by the way. So he still operates as a real estate coach now. He's from the States.
Shout out to Jerry James.
Yeah, shout out to Jerry James. And, why I liked him, why I was receptive to him, was because he was doing like newer types of lead generations. He was doing online leads. He was doing Facebook ads. He was doing conversion from those type of places. And that I was receptive to, because I'm like, well, I mean, I'm a younger guy. I think like social media is going to be a big thing. I think online ads is pretty good. I didn't really want to go door knock. I didn't really want to go do like cold calling. Yes, I did call my databases at the first. And that's another thing as well. Like that's another piece that did, fuel my career at the beginning, is just literally putting myself out there and calling people. And, some of the people watching might even remember that phone call that I made you and said, hey, like, I'm a real estate agent now.
Yep.
If you need help with anything, let me know. And some of those people were family members who literally bought and sold, not with me, okay, because, like, they just probably look at me like their little cousin, this little punk. Like, why the hell would I trust why would they trust my, $800,000 house with this guy? Where, they probably had one or two contacts already, like most people in terms of real estate. So they didn't even use me. They didn't even use me. And that kind of stung, to be honest, but that kind of fueled me. That little pain that I felt, I'm like, man, I'm going to kill this so much that one day I will be undeniable. And guess what? These guys are going to call me to help them out one day. You know what I mean? And hey, in a few cases, actually, that day did come.
If you don't have thick skin, don't get into real estate. You're going to have friends, you're going to have family, you're going to have loved ones, you're going to have whoever. They're going to be like, oh, yeah, we're going to use you. Or they'll keep asking you for information.
And then in the end...
In the end, they use someone else. Try not to take it personally. Obviously, to some degree, you're always going to take at least maybe a little bit personal, but you got to let it go, because that's just going to be energy you're going to focus on the negative instead of looking for the new lead, right?
Yeah, 100%. So it was database for me, like database for sure, and I actually neglected database. I was getting tired of making those awkward phone calls, and I wanted to make things happen, and it wasn't happening. That's when I went to the, Jerry James. I had... So what was nice about the coach early on, okay, which was another option for you guys. I know it's going to be more investment now, because I think that was like... I want to say it was like about $500-$600 a month at the time, okay? But they give you like a game plan. This is how you want to run an open house. This is how you want to deal with a buyer. This is how you want to deal with a seller. This is how you want to handle rentals. These are different marketing things that you can do to lead generate. These are different ways. Okay, this is the cold calling script if you're going to do that. This is how you door knock, And the nice thing, the main thing that I wanted is this is how you run Facebook ads and get online leads. And that's the thing that I kind of was more receptive to. And I did convert people. I converted plenty of people from Facebook and online leads. They became clients of mine, and nice. And it worked out. Then I got bogged down. One thing that I changed, like maybe in year 4, I was like, man, like, okay, now I have all these online leads, and I have a nice little system for like leads that come from online. But I'm like, wait a second, like I think I'm neglecting a bigger group now. I'm neglecting my database. Like I have all these people. I had zero communication plan. I had zero way. I never communicated with these people. I would do a deal with a buyer or a seller, and then I wouldn't talk to them for like a year, and had no way. I had no communication, no emails in between.
Yep.
And that's one thing that I'm like, look, I got to switch that up. I'm like, I gotta reconnect with people who used to work with me in the past, because I want to continue to help them and their friends and their family as well, and I wanted to make sure that they know that I'm still around, you know what I mean, and that I didn't just leave them bleed. And so I implemented some systems in order to kind of keep in touch with my database. And now, if you're probably getting this video here for this first episode, so just know, look, I on purpose am sending you guys information about real estate, the stats, what's going on with stories about real estate. I send you deals. I send you so many things on a monthly basis, because I want to be top of mind, and I wanted you guys to remember I'm doing this, and I'm doing it at a high level. So if you're going to call somebody, you should call me. And what ended up happening is, and we did this math not for 2023, but for 2022, 85% of my business was repeat referral. So it was people who stayed with me, who were clients from the past, who referred me, and I was like, man, that's because I actually implemented this little thing. How do I communicate with my database, And I still have the new people coming in from online a bit, and, there's other things that have happened since
you have to, I think one thing I learned too is like, you have to see what works for you as a real estate agent. Obviously that should be your main focus, but don't underestimate the other opportunities.
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
Like some people, like maybe door knocking is your thing, right?
I know people who do door knocking and kill it.
Don't underestimate social media. But focus 100%. On your door knocking.
Sure.
That's what you like.
That's right.
But yeah, we wanted to take this episode to have you guys get to know us a little more. Obviously, you guys did. Maybe just a tad more. And on next episode, I think we're going to have a guest.
Yeah, we're probably going to have a guest. We're going to see who we can actually find to want to talk about.
Hopefully one of you messages us.
Yeah, that's right. And we're going to talk about your thing, like something like this. Like, how did you get into this? Like, what did you do? Like, where did it come from, man? Before we end off, man, anything that happened along the way that were kind of like weird and that, like, again, thick skin, but you kept it moving?
So this is probably like 10 years ago. Obviously, I was just starting my real estate career, young adult, 23 years old.
Yeah.
And I forgot why, but my right bumper, I think I hit like a something in a parking lot, like backing out or something.
So those things are there for you to not to hit them,
Yeah,
right?
and I hit them.
Okay.
So my rear bumper was like hanging.
Oh man.
Didn't have the money to fix it at the time. Just trying to hustle, get some deals done, maybe get a better car eventually. Right bumper's hanging. I have a showing. So I have a showing and I park like really far from the house so that the client doesn't see it.
Yeah.
Right? And then as the client's driving towards me, I kind of pop like a U-ey behind them so they don't see the bumper as we're getting out of there. So that's my broke story. It's like I was trying to avoid my client seeing obviously my car that I was trying to figure out how to pay and how to fix at my showing.
Yeah, man. Look, I have a similar stuff too. Like, I drove an FX35, like an older car, and buddy, like for maybe 2-3 years, I was like every single summer. My cousin Saul, he owns an auto shop. T6 is turning out in Ajax, by the way. Anybody who wants to go out to get auto services over there, I would just keep taking it to him and just like basically doing bondo and just taking the rust off and just repainting over it so it looks half decent. But in the end, like that car literally went to the scrapper. Okay, like that car actually had a hole in the exhaust. And it was so loud, like, it was like back in the day, people used to put exhaust so that your car sounds loud and like it sounds mean. I wasn't trying to do that. No, I wasn't trying to do that. I was just loud because there was a hole in the freaking exhaust.
Unintentionally.
Not intentionally. And so I was like driving towards people. I actually had a showing pretty far away, and like, man, I would just like everyone could hear me down the street. And I was like, man, this is what it is.
So you gotta get there before your clients.
I had to go to the showing. Yeah, I had to get there early. I had to be far away. Like I didn't want anyone to hear it. And you gotta struggle, but you gotta keep pushing. You can't leave that. Is that an excuse for you to stay home? Oh no, I can't let them see me with my car hanging down, my bumper hanging on the floor. No, hopefully you got that lease deal.
Yeah, no, I'm not if I got that one, but I definitely got one to eventually fix it.
Yeah, that's good. I think I was able to actually get that buyer to close something on that trip, so it was good.
But those are real stories. Like everyone thinks like real estate's so glamorous, like you're rich off the bat, you're selling sunsets. It's definitely not that, right?
We're in Canada, we're selling ice cubes. That's what it is,
Selling igloos according to Americans.
Selling igloos, yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, look, that just goes to show you that we have some embarrassing stuff that happened to us along the way as well. And look, I mean, you can take these little things as just knocks on your way to success. I don't look at failures as failures. Failures are just an opportunity to just kind of come out on top afterwards, and just learn from everything that happens to you along your journey, and you keep it moving. And so hopefully with this episode you learned a little bit more about me and Andres and in terms of our story and how we actually got here. There's probably so much more that we can talk about, but that just gives you a glimpse of some of the struggles that we had, some of the decisions that we had to make along the way, some of the breakthroughs as well that we had along the way. And this stuff is not easy, okay? But if it was easy, everyone would do it. I think that's another saying that you can probably find somewhere as well. So that's why not a lot of people are successful in this particular business and in anything in business. But there's a lot of success out there, and we're going to bring you those stories so that you have some inspiration, some information about what's going on with other people and how they made it as well. I'm actually very, very interested in hearing other people's stories. I'm going to take inspiration from it. I'm going to take my little nuggets as well and see if I can implement it in my own stuff. And you're going to see our journey as well and what we do into the future.
And this is 416 Hustle, the keys to success. We want to show you the good and bad of entrepreneurship and how we started, where we're at, and where we're going.
Episode number 1 in the books, man. Respect, buddy.
Let's do it. Respect to you too.
Yeah, man. Thanks so much for jumping on.
Make sure you subscribe, follow us. Here are our Instagrams right here. And we look forward to bringing you guys some more great content. I'm happy Danilo agreed to this. I mean, he came to me with the idea, but I was already thinking
Let's go.
We got good traction off the first episode, off the couple of reels that we posted. So we want to give you guys good, genuine content so you guys can relate to it. And like you said, get good nuggets, get good gems out of it, and apply it to your life and your business.
That's the main thing. I think I'm a guy who always is learning. So I'm listening to podcasts, learning kind of like, how to do investments properly, like real estate investments properly. I learned so much from just hearing other people's stories, other people's like journey and what they had to do as well. All those little things are so important. So if you're kind of like a person who's thinking about getting into a new business, whether it be real estate, whatever it is, hopefully these stories inspire you guys. And if you want to talk more with us about this sort of stuff, then definitely connect with us. You saw our information before. And if you want your business highlighted in one of these episodes, I'm definitely open to hearing stories from all different types of businesses. Man, I'm super excited for episodes to come in the future, man. Hopefully this for a long time.
And it doesn't have to be like a successful business. Like you could be just starting.
Sure. Amazing.
And the struggles of starting, or what you suggest for other people that want to start it, how you started it, right? Whether it's successful business or not, whether you're making $10K a year or $100K a year, like.
I'm interested in hearing the stories. There's a lot of serial entrepreneurs that started a lot of things that didn't go through, that actually failed, but then they eventually found their thing. Like I'm hoping to hearing all those type of things as well, because those are all things that we can learn from. So amazing, guys. Thanks so much for hopping on, and we'll be here with the next one.
This is 416 Hustle, and we are out.
Yes.